Hello, welcome to Cosmic Love Connections with your host, Judy Jewett and Catherine Lanigan. How are you today, Catherine?
I am very good. A little windblown, but I'm great.
I can't, we were talking about your setup.
Uh-huh.
So my wall, your walls must be white. Is that
They are
so?
white. Yeah, crystal
It
white, and
is.
this, and so is the ceiling.
Oh, I may paint my walls white. I mean, they're beige and I have three lights on.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. And
Well,
they're
I'm
still
fortunate
dark.
that I have a lot of natural light today, and I'm facing south, so the sun is coming right in, and it is lovely. It's a beautiful day. I had a Zoom earlier this morning with England, and he said, "Oh my God, look at what's out your window, all those beautiful trees and everything." And I said, "Well, that's a really nice golf course out there." So,
Yeah. Can you show everybody your first iris of the
yes, I
season?
will. This is my first iris of the whole summer, and these irises. I only have three of them left, three plants, and they were planted by my mother about 30 years ago. And the azaleas I planted 15 years ago, and this I planted about 23 hours ago. We
Wow.
went to the nursery, and and we just I mean, that's when both of us go way too crazy, because I mean, just all those, that sea of flowers, you just want to take them all home, right? But the car doesn't hold that many.
Yeah, you do. You do.
It's just, I mean, it's
They're
such
beautiful.
a pleasure to have real, for it to be spring and you can have real flowers inside and out. So
I
it's great.
absolutely agree. It
Yeah.
is. You're very fortunate. I don't
Yeah.
hate flowers. I love them.
Hmm.
But I just don't. But I do actually appreciate them for sure.
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about peace on earth.
Yes,
And
we are.
before we get started, we are going live. Normally, we pre record and then I add a lot of information about us. And going live right now, I don't see how to do that. I don't usually go live in StreamYard. So, I'll practice it more. But can you please give everyone your website?
Yes, absolutely. My website is www.catherinelanigan.com. My name's right down there at the bottom. So it's CATHERINE, Catherine Lanigan, LANIGAN.com. It's real simple. And there you'll find my newest books. My Angel Timelines is there. See the gold? See this gold 3D stuff? I love that. Anyway, and Angel Watch is also available through my website. So I got that up here just not too long ago. So that's kind of cool.
Great.
And then there's a link to Amazon, so you can get Angel Tales. And I'm in the process. It's going to take a couple of months, but I'm in the process of getting Divine Nudges put up on audiobook. So it will be available again.
Oh, good. That's great.
Yeah, yeah.
That's great. That's great. And if you want to take an aura energy quiz or learn more about me, you can go to Judy Jewett, that's JEWETT.com, or you can go to Aura Energy Quiz, the words auraenergyquiz.com, and you can take, so the quiz will give you an idea of your aura mindset, like what is going on with you most of the time. And
Hmm.
then you can sign up for a complimentary 30-minute session where I will go in, dive in, and explain things to you more thorough so you understand what is going on. So feel free to do that. Today, we're going to talk about peace on earth. That's a beautiful subject.
I think it is, especially now. We I find it very interesting that the on Monday, the 13th of May, there will be peace talks in Cairo, Egypt, between the Israelis and Palestinians. And so I just that in this place where nobody's got any hope about anything anymore, it seems to me that is a very hopeful sign that they're coming together at the table to talk and hopefully have an end to this war. So it's always a step in the right direction. But the peace on earth for us is always going to start within. It's always going to start within. Even though we're all focused on the world out here, we need to remember that our angels, and we have so many angelic beings of light, galactic angels, galactic beings of light. I mean, all kinds of beings that want to, we may not, just because you can't see them, it doesn't mean they're not there. It doesn't mean that they're there, that they are not helping us, because they are helping us, and they're helping us in many, many ways. They're helping us. I know, I feel that there is just an army of angels all around the Palestinians and all around the Israelis when they go to these peace talks. And that's, if other nations would do that, maybe we'll start seeing things, a little domino effect. Now, that's what I'm visualizing for the earth right now, is this is the first step, right? This is the first step, the first peace talk. I want to see other peace talks, for the next one and the next one. There's quite a few wars going on. There are quite a few battles going on. There's a lot of places on the earth where it's just governments and their citizens need to come to peace talks, and I'm that's my hope, is this the first one, and then I want to see another one, you know what I mean? Just that kind of thing.
Right,
I
right.
just, wow, that would, you know I can remember back. Do you remember the old, or maybe they still have a Miss America contest, and they
Right.
would always have the questions and answers, the questions when they would ask the questions, and they would ask these girls, and they back in the 50s and 60s, and they would say, "Well, I want to have peace on earth," because we were going through the Korean War, the Vietnam War, blah blah, all that, and they would say, "I want peace on earth," and I can remember people saying, that is so stupid and that's such a lame brain answer. And I thought, you are sitting in front of this television, being able to watch this contest because we have enough peace on this in this country that you can actually do that. And I used to get so mad about that. And so whenever somebody says, what's your one thing that you want the most? I said, peace on earth. It's such a big thing. And these days, I think it's an even bigger thing than it ever has been, really.
Well, I agree. And peace on earth on a personal level, like you're talking about, to me is when we stay in gratitude. If we catch ourselves being judgmental, too much mind chatter, we bring ourselves back to the present moment. And as Buddha taught, it is about mindfulness. It is about
It
listening
is.
and not talking so much.
It
It
is.
is about just being in the moment. And
It
then you
is.
don't worry. So we can have peace no matter what is going on in the world. We can have peace right now where
Yes.
we are.
Yes. Yes, we
Most of us
can.
can. Not everybody can, but in the world. But
Yeah.
most of us can. And if you're in a part of the world where there's fighting, the wars going on, if there's a moment of silence, take advantage of that, right?
Yes.
Into the peace, into the moment of what we have. So I look at peace on earth as we are the ones that has to do the change, right? We're the
I,
ones
I
that have
agree.
to
I
be
agree. We are the ones,
change.
when you look within and you're have a lot of consternation, anger, hatred, and you, as you said, judgment, so much judgment, I'm better than you, and all of that stuff. It doesn't serve you. We went today we have early voting today for primary, here in Indiana. And we went, and this lady said, I said, my husband and I were saying, thank you for your service, for being here so that we can keep the polls open and you giving your time and everything. And they said, well, it's not easy. There are some of these people come in and they are so angry and so full of angst and just, she said, this one man came in and she said his energy was so strong it was just difficult to even talk to him about anything at all. and to give him even his directions. This is, you have to fill this out. I have to take your, driver's license, and then I'll take you over to the voting machine. And I thought, isn't that so? I said, what was interesting to me is, here's this person is so angry and so upset, but he is there casting his vote, which I thought was commendable. There's a lot of people that, just throw their hands up and they complain all the time, but they don't do anything about it. So they don't even vote. That is a privilege to be in this country. That's part of the peace on earth, is you have peace when you know that you've said your say by casting your vote. And
Yeah.
but back to one of the other things that you were saying is, when even if you're in a situation, it doesn't even have to be a war-torn country. But if you're in a really toxic situation or a toxic office, let's just put it right there, is in the middle of everything, if you, like you said, is just be in the moment, bring in that breath, and be anchor that in. And like, what does that feel like? Like, I'm just going to be calm. And then remember that for longer than a second, make it 2 seconds, until you get to the point where you can do it for maybe a half a minute or a whole minute, or maybe even take 5 minutes and go to the break room or something, and just sit in that peace. That is your peace on earth. It, even though you're in that situation where there isn't any peace, and we've all been there. We've all been in that kind of situation, or at least most of us have, I believe. I don't think you can be on earth and not have gone through something.
Right. I agree. And I agree. And it is a choice to be angry, or it's a choice to be aware. It's a
Yeah.
choice to be happy. It's a choice to be peaceful. It is an absolute, it's an absolute decision. It's a personal decision that
Yes.
everybody gets to make. Not does
Hmm.
not matter what country you're in. It does not matter what's going on in the world. As we said, it's a choice. So when people are in so much anger, they're not awake. And you want to
No.
go, wake up, wake up.
Yeah, you do.
You
Oh God.
do.
I,
You
I, I mean,
do.
I so get that. Yeah, you just want to sock them in the jaw.
And the other thing is, a lot of people are not in their soul. Their soul, I'm sorry, is not in their physical body.
Yeah.
Their soul is out here. It has to be some type of trauma will throw the soul out.
Yeah.
Um, a lot
I
of,
have heard that. Yeah.
yeah, it does. I mean, I have spent a lot of time bringing people, their soul back into their body, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, I feel peaceful. I'm not so scattered. But if you're
Oh,
not
interesting.
aware,
Yeah.
you're not going to know.
Hmm. Yeah, you're not even when something good happens, if you're so full of that anger and that hatred, or even violence towards somebody else. Let's say that you're the abuser, and most times you're that abuser because that's how you were brought up. I mean, you didn't come out of the womb knowing how to give everybody a right hook, right?
No, no, you didn't. And one way, here are some symptoms if you're out of your body, if you're not grounded, is you're not grounded. If your soul is not completely in your body, it usually shows up you're ungrounded, you're very scattered, you're on a hamster wheel, very stuck with things
Hmm.
going on in life. Maybe you heard something, maybe you watched something on TV, and it triggered a
Hmm.
subconscious belief of emotion that is stuck in the body somewhere, and you don't know how to remove it. It's really very simple. We're very, very powerful. And so it will come across very, like I said, very scattered, out of it. And those are signs. And yes, you can bring yourself back into your body. Like I said, I do that.
That is really interesting and very, very helpful. I would think may even save somebody's life who's listening. They don't understand, especially if they're like, I don't understand. I'm thinking of a particular person. So I don't understand why I have meltdowns. I hear that's the new buzzword for scattered. Well, my daughter had another meltdown. I'm going, why is she always freaking out like this? Just and the smallest thing triggers them, a teenager.
Yeah, my feelings, and as a transformation healer, leader, coach, whatever, um,
Mhm.
I feel that they're not in their body, their soul isn't, and they're
Mhm.
stuck in their trauma. There's some kind of angry energy that has a hook on them, and
That's how I felt. There's an angry energy that's got a
energy
hook
that
on
has a
them.
hook.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'll tell you, I had a session with someone in 2016, and I'll never forget it because this was before I used Zoom, and I would do them in person or I would do it on the
sure.
phone. And seriously, this person was in she was 40. Parents went through a divorce when she was a teenager. And in the last part of the session, it was to feel completely grounded, to feel at peace and one.
Hmm.
And the part, and I just loved them. I was divinely guided what to say. The part that they did not know, because then I brought them back into their body. I brought their soul back, grounded them back into their body. And it's just something I do. And I was just divinely guided to do it. And the person said afterwards that they had never, I mean, they'd been through counseling, all this traditional stuff, and I'm not downing anything, trust me.
Sure,
But
I understand.
that session was so peaceful for them that they felt embodied again. And what happened? The trauma
Interesting.
threw them out of their body, and they hadn't been fully grounded in their body. And that's why they felt so much success with my
Right.
techniques and what I could do, is they felt completely grounded.
Well, let me ask you a question. When somebody's soul is not in their body, are they able to understand or even accept love at all?
Um,
Or it would be difficult? I mean,
well, okay, so this a person who's not soul is not in the body, they're in fight or flight. Okay, so that's the
correct.
best way to describe it: fight or flight.
Right.
And each person has to ask themselves, when you're in fight or flight, it's very hard to get real centered about the present moment or
Sure.
about it. But I would say, like, from this person, they had a child, and
Mhm.
absolutely they could feel love.
Oh,
Absolutely.
okay. All right.
They could. Now, it would be like anybody else in a fight or flight. You may not feel it, you love them, right? So there's a difference. But if your solar plexus is chattering so much, and that is such a nervousness,
It
and your
is.
chest is heavy, your shoulders are heavy, and you're not breathing and bringing out, in and out the love from the heart, you're
Right.
going to say it, and there's something in you that knows it. But it is different when you're in your body and you're fully grounded, right? And
Yeah.
your heart is open. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because a lot of that does describe, it does describe several younger people that I am in contact with, um, that just constant, like you say, the constant chatter, the constant nervousness, anxiousness, reminds me of, I was talking to someone, I can't remember now, but reminds me of back in the 80s, when kids were hyperactive. And the first thing the doctors did or the counselors did was put them on Ritalin. Well, let's just drug them, then they'll be okay. And that was never that wasn't that wasn't the issue. It wasn't a chemical imbalance. It could and I've always thought, I wonder what, I've never figured out what was really wrong. you know were they and it was, what was the first wave of, there were I think it was the indigo children, and then the crystal children, and now it's something else that are being born. The next generation is being born, is they're very, very psychic. And but back
Yes.
then, it was the early 80s, I think, were the indigo children that were being born in the early 80s.
Right. And I know that when I was living in Houston, I was really involved in transformation enzymes. And um, the one thing I remember Dickie Fuller talked about was that, and she was living in Arizona at the time,
Mhm.
and doctors who had children, they took their children to see her because they didn't want
Ah,
their child on Ritalin.
now that's
And what
interesting.
she found was there was a problem with one of the enzymes that our bodies make that they did not have a supply of. I want to say there's digestive enzymes, there's fat enzymes,
Right.
there's protease, which is for protein. And I want to say it was protease, but I'm not going to swear by that. It
Hmm.
actually could have been just right, just the enzymes that you need. And so back in the 80s, or 70s or 90s, our food was already contaminated with preservatives and
Yeah.
additives.
Yeah. Additives. That was the big thing then, was a lot of additives.
Right.
Because I made all of his baby food, myself, from fresh vegetables and fresh fruits and stuff. Um, I was one of those hippie natural everything mothers. you know, and a lot of it's, now it's like, well, it's hard to even get that way.
I agree. I agree. Yeah. I mean, there are people out there that are watching the show that understand the value of feeding your children healthy and do as
Yeah,
much organic as you can. Stay away from processed food. And
correct.
then there are parents that they're not aware. They're so overwhelmed that they're not aware and
Hmm.
they just haven't opened that door of awareness of what diet does to us.
Yeah,
So that is true. You can give your kids fruit, always have fruit, but if you're giving them processed food, you're not helping them. You
no, you're
really,
not. That's
you're,
right.
you're
Yeah,
well, and then you want your children to have inner peace, right?
right.
Feed them healthy, and that will definitely help their own inner peace.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I believe also with parents is allow your children to express their feelings, not in a
Hmm.
destructive way, but be aware of feelings because kids can let go of things so much faster. Parents, we all have baggage.
Yeah,
You can teach your children not to have, they can let it go and not carry on the baggage anyway.
correct. Correct. They go, oh, okay, well, I don't need that. And they're just off and running and stuff. I also, which I truly believe in kids being outdoors and doing outside things, like all the sports that are outside, soccer and swimming and I know and baseball, t-ball, and the girls with volleyball, boys volleyball, what doesn't matter, but all the stuff that can be outside, as much as you can be outdoors to help with the grounding and help with the breathing. I think that's important. Even though my
I do.
sister had really bad asthma, she had horrible, life-threatening asthma. And we always had to be so careful with Nancy. I mean, she was allergic to every grass there was, so it wasn't like you could just dig up the yard, and you know, have dirt.
Well, I agree. I agree. No,
But
yeah,
nature's important. It's really
it is.
important it's important for you to have peace. When you are really scattered or depressed and really feeling just overwhelmed with everything, just walk outside. I mean, even on a rainy day, I can just open the door and just listen to the rain, watch the rain come down, and I just feel better. It's amazing.
It
I
is.
I think.
No, I agree. It's slowing down. So peace on earth would be what we're saying is slow down.
Hmm.
Slow down. And there again, as the monks at the monastery Thich Nhat Hanh. I have a son who's a monk, and I learned so much, about the mindfulness, slowing down, look at nature, just be in awe of your surroundings. And
Yes.
there again, we all can do that. Like, do not eat in front of the TV. Do not,
Right.
stop what you're doing, taste your food. I don't do that like I do when I go to the monastery. At the monastery, you put your fork down, or sometimes the monks will have their eyes closed. You close your eyes as you savor every bite.
Right.
Yeah, so it's
I
different.
know.
Yeah. So, okay, peace on earth. Is there anything else? Why don't you give your information again? I do want to say we normally air Friday at 5 p.m.
Correct.
And what happened is I had two accounts with StreamYard, and I don't know how to delete the free account because I have a paid account. So that's why I was trying to multitask when we were on the last time and get it up there. And I thought, I don't know what's going on. So I thought that we would do this live. And
Sure.
then Friday we will also do a show. We have
Okay.
taken the time to pre-record some really good shows
Yeah.
that we want everyone to be a part of. So please go ahead and share your email address again.
My website
I'm
is
sorry,
yeah,
website.
that's all
Whoa.
right. My website is www.catherinelanigan.com. That's CATHERINE Lanigan LANIGAN.com. And when you do go there, if you have an angel story that you would like to share with me, I would love to read them. I read all my emails that everybody sends me, and my under contact us is my email. That's my direct email. So I'm always there to read those stories, and and over the years I've gotten phenomenal stories, and it is good to share. I can share and they can share, so it's a good give and take, and the angels like it a lot, so it works.
Yes. Oh, and I do want to mention there are people on YouTube that have wanted to know how to get the prayers. You shared three prayers probably about a month ago, and they
Uh-huh.
were, if you want to go over that and then what those prayers were about, and people can email you from your website, and you
Yes.
will
And
you
I and
will
I will
get
say,
them.
and I'll send the prayers. There's three prayers. One is obviously the Our Father. And that's one. One is the prayer to Saint Michael for protection, and all the prayers are for protection, to keep you safe and protected no matter what. But there is one prayer. It is given by. It's found in Stranger in the Pentagon is the book. It's by Dr. Frankie Stranges. It was written decades and decades ago, but it was about when the Venusian ship landed on the White House lawn, and Valiant Thor, who was the leader or the captain of the spaceship, met with President Eisenhower at that time. But this prayer is a prayer that the aliens say before they come to Earth, because our Earth is so difficult and so dense and so full of negativity that it is difficult even for the advanced beings. I guess I was starting to say humans, but they're not, they're not human. Anyway, the prayer is a protection prayer that will help you, especially when there's any kind of situation going on that you really, really wants to be protected from, something that you feel is pretty darn bad. It'll do it.
Yeah, well, thank you. And then you can email me at judydjewett@yahoo.com, or go to judydjewett.com, or auraenergyquiz.com, and learn more about your aura. We all want to elevate. If you're watching the show, it is about elevating, raising your
Mhm.
frequency. So with that, I want to thank you very much, Catherine, for being a part of Cosmic Love Connections.
Thank you, Judy. It's always a pleasure.